These are very special bolts, and we don't have any more. So I got this thread checker, and this used to be on a chain. You can see these holes in here. So this used to just have a cord run through it. But I couldn't really twist these on because I would have to deal with the whole thing every time I wanted to turn it. So I just cut out this brick and I drilled a bunch of holes and I set them in here. This side is standard, this side is metric. And I know that it's not, you know, it's definitely too big there. I'm just gonna start out here. This is M5 0.8, too big. This one's an M407, so that's also too big. So it might be an M3. Look over here. This is a number 8, too big. And a 632. So right there it's starting to fit, but the threads are too coarse, so it's not threading in all the way. And you can also tell just by looking at the side, the threads are not the same. One of the ways that you can find out if it's metric or standard is I can just start measuring things out. So right there it measures out to 2 centimeters and it's pretty perfect. Over here it's not quite as perfect. Now it could still be there because you can have really fine measurements, but most of the time it's going to be fairly perfect. So my bet is that this is metric. So here I got a couple of nuts. I will just try this on, and I know these are M3s. Okay, so that's it. It's an M3 0.5. So I just know that these nuts are M3 0.5 because they were labeled in the box that I pulled them out of. So I know that this is an M3 0.5, 2 centimeters long. But I've got this too. This is a thread gauge checker. We got standard on one side, metric on the other. So for standard, it's counting threads per inch. For metric, it's counting threads per millimeter. So just to make sure this is in a number 6, it could be, because they have different thread pitches, it could be a 40, a 48. I'm just going to take these and I'm going to see if I can make it work. What I'm looking for is a little gap between the threads and the thread checker. If I see a gap, then it's not correct. All right, so standard is not good. If we go with the metric, you can kind of see on here it says 0.7. So that also doesn't fit. And it's a lot easier to see this if you just have like a consistent white light behind it, piece of paper or whatever. And here's the 0.5. And you can see that seats in there nicely. Even if I try to pull them apart, they kind of stick together. With any other thread, if I press them together and try to slide it, it'll slide. All right, it kind of grides along. The correct thread, if I press it together and pull, it'll stay together. So that's how I know this is a 0.5 thread. And then from there, I just need to know it's an M3, but I already know it's an M3 just because that's what it's closest to, and 2 centimeters long. So then the question of material might come up. So is this stainless or is it regular steel? It is not magnetic, so it is stainless. But different grades of stainless can also be magnetic, but it will always be less magnetic than a regular steel screw.